Welcome back. To those of you who like to watch me play my rapid games live on camera while I talk about my thought processes and then analyze afterwards, I have to apologize. There's not going to be one in this video. I did record one, but it sounded like this. We also almost didn't have a video because when I started recording the first time, there was no audio from this mic. The software once again decided to just switch to some other default microphone that doesn't exist. But it's a good thing that I caught it before we started here. But anyway, I don't know what went wrong with the recording software, but for some reason it was recording the microphone twice, one with the delay and one without the delay. So there's that really annoying echo, and I just couldn't in good conscience put that entire video up. However, I will say that I did lose that game. This is the game review. After the game, you can see from the graph that both my opponent and I played pretty poorly. There were lots of blunders and mistakes. I'm just going to show you right at the end what happened. I went through the analysis, as I said, after the game, but at this point here, I had a pretty big advantage after 56 moves. And I had several moves that would have maintained that advantage. According to Stockfish, I would have had about a 1.3 advantage, not a 4.6 like the game review said, but I could have played G4. I could have moved my rook to any one of these squares. In fact, the three suggested moves here aren't the same three that were suggested when I analyzed this after the game. It was moving the rook to one of these three squares here next, keeping it on the same row with my pawn. And I think the idea was to try to get my king to go this way, behind my rook, so that if they ever came over to try to challenge these pawns, that I could hide my king behind my rook. But I'm not sure. I'm also not sure what this move was about. I do know why my next move was a blunder. It's because it gives up defense of this pawn. But I still had a very mild advantage after that mistake. It is my opponent's best move to take that pawn, and they did. And now Stockfish is saying go to e5, which is kind of what I thought the idea was before when it was suggesting to move my rook over there, was to get my king around behind their rook that way where it would be safe from their rook. Maybe I could go help this pawn get down. I didn't play my best move. I played my second best move, which was to come this way toward their rook. My opponent needs to get their rook back over here behind this pawn, or for some reason c2. They played their third best move, which is g2, which obviously goes after that pawn. The obvious way to protect that pawn would be to move it forward, and then my rook would be protecting both pawns. So what I need to do is move it up, or come after the rook again. But I did play one of my top three moves, which was to put the king here, back where it was, and it protects that pawn. Here, Stockfish says they need to bring their king or move that pawn up. I'm not sure exactly what either one of those does, but my opponent checked again. Maybe they were hoping for a repetition. Maybe they thought if we got a repetition here, I would never be able to move this pawn. Now again, I need to move my king in front of this pawn, or do the same thing I did last time, which is come down. But if I came down, we were going to get a repetition. And maybe I should have gone for that. But I thought, what if I just go here in front of this pawn, which I know doesn't make any sense because it blocks the progress of that pawn, and it would have been so easy just to go to e5. Maybe that's why Stockfish was suggesting that they move their pawn to f6, because it would have prevented my king from going to e5. But I got in front of this pawn, which is a huge blunder, but only if my opponent finds the move that they found, which is that. Obviously, I'm in check, and my king can't take the pawn. I have to get out of check, and then they're going to take my rook. I knew and recognized immediately that my opponent had a huge advantage there, and I was not going to be able to win this game. So I resigned with 4.5 minutes left on the clock. That was something I did not see coming, and when they played it, I thought, yes, that was a great move. I was really proud of my opponent for finding it, and really sad that I walked right into it. I have 4 ways to get out of check here, and then when they take that rook, they have a passed pawn. And my king can't get to it because their rook's cutting off the entire f-file. So they don't even need to come get my pawns. They can just promote this one. And I can't get around my own pawn to get to this rook. I'm going to have to move the pawn and try to get to the rook this way, but then they can just put the rook down there, and this pawn can walk down, and I don't have time. So anyway, that's what happened. I apologize that there were technical difficulties, so I didn't get to play this game. Well, I did get to play this game on camera, but I apologize that it's not going to be a video for YouTube. Thank you for spending your time here. Hopefully, the next time I play a rapid game on camera, it will work out better than this. See you next time.